The ERi-TV news broadcast crew and I, Dalit Tahai, are now ready for your daily news briefing at 10:30 local time. But first, let us catch up with the major headlines. Meeting to strengthen female school participation conducted in Ordet subzone. Seminar on eradication of harmful practices organized in Ordet subzone. Oil prices rose 3% at the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. The West African states decided to create a new force to fight jihadists in the region. Proceeding with our reports. A meeting aimed at identifying the cause of female school dropout and creating means to strengthen their participation was conducted in Ordet subzone. The meeting was organized by Education Office in the subzone. At the meeting, extensive discussion was conducted aimed at improving female school participation in general and especially at junior and high school levels. Mr. Tahai Brahana, head of the Education Office in the subzone, said that although there has been equitable expansion of school facilities and educational opportunities, the participation of female in education is still very low. He also called for coordinated participation of all stakeholders to raise the figure to 50%. Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Noor, head of pedagogy at the office branch, indicated that females' participation at preschool is 45%, at elementary school 44%, at junior and high school 40%. He also expressed his expectation that meeting will identify the basic problems and address them. Mr. Yasin Mohammed, head of the Education Office in Gashbarka region, and Mr. Isat administrator of the subzone, for their part, noting that focusing on the meeting in which representatives of the line ministries and schools took part, expressed the expectation that the meeting will forward ideas to address the problem. The participants, on their part, called for reinforced participation and the role of the administrators, conducted sustainable awareness raising with a view to eradicating backward outlooks and taking corrective measures against parents who deny their children the right to go to school for various reasons. The Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare branch in Barantu subzone organized a seminar focusing on eradicating of harmful practices and underage marriage. At the seminar, which was conducted from 2nd March in Barantu, religious leaders from 16 subzones of the region took part. At the seminar, reporters were presented by members of the committee to ensure the rights of children and eradicate harmful practices. They also called on religious leaders to fully understand the problems associated with the harmful practices in the lives of women and play their due role on giving their influence in their eradication. Noting the significance of enhanced awareness and understanding of the issue, the committee called for public to pay due attention to the rights of children and play their due part in the effort. Underlining that harmful practices performed on women have negative precautions on socioeconomic development of the public, Mr. Tasfa Mikael Gebrselassie, acting head of the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare branch in the region, called on the religious leaders to play their due part in enhancing public awareness. He also said that legal measures will be taken against those who practice the harmful practices. The participants, on their part, expressed readiness to strengthen participation in the efforts and called for conducted sustained awareness-raising activities. Straight ahead is our international news after the short break. Welcome back. Oil prices rose 3% on Wednesday for the March as the U.S.-Israel war on Iran disrupted Middle East suppliers, but its pace of gains slow past in the session after President Donald Trump suggested the U.S. Navy could escort vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. Brent LCOC1 rose $2.67 or 3.3% to $84.07 a barrel by 6:59 GMT after closing Tuesday at its highest since January 2025. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude CLC rose 2.24 or 3% to $76.8 after settling at the highest since June. Both benchmarks have risen about 5% or more in the past 2 sessions. The fifth of the world oil and gas flow through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway wedged between Iran and the United Arab Emirates, but traffic has almost entirely halted following Israel's threat to set fire on the ships. Trump has said the U.S. government will provide risk insurance at a very reasonable price to all shipping firms in the region to ensure the free flow of energy to the world. Israel army deployed near Lebanon border as Iran conflict entered 5th day. Israel troops and artillery were deployed near the border with Lebanon on Wednesday morning. And as the U.S.-Israel air war against Iran entered its 5th day. Since Monday, the Israel-Lebanon border area has seen a sharp escalation in fighting after Lebanon's Hezbollah fired drone and missile at Israel. Since then, the Iran-aligned group has launched further rockets and Israel has carried out waves of airstrikes across Lebanon and sent troops into the south. Meanwhile, U.S. forces continued to round-the-clock assault on Iran, and Israel mounted a broad wave of strikes on Wednesday targeting Iranian missile site and air defense system in the campaign that a top American commander said is ahead of a game plan. On our last report, the 12 countries of Economic Community of the West African State, ECOWAS, have decided to create a new force to fight jihadist operation in the region. Sources told the AFP news agency that military chief made the decision during a meeting in Freetown over the weekend. Discussions focused on rising terrorist threats and expansion of transitional organized crime and the persistent challenge related to maritime insecurity. The initial goal is to have around 2,000 troops ready to fight terrorism and security across the West Africa. Sources said they will remain stationed in their own countries, with Sierra Leone serving as a logistical base for the group. The Sahel, which cuts across Africa between the Sahara and sub-Saharan Africa, has long been plagued by jihadist insurgencies led to a group linked Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. They have been particularly active 3 former French colonies, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, that quit the ECOWAS in the recent years following military rebellions. The 3 countries have formed their own alliance, but a West African chief of staff said they will be encouraged to cooperate with the new force. The 3 countries are part of the Sahel, that is the epicenter of the fight against the jihadists. They must be included, he said. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of tonight's news. Let's have a quick recap of the headlines. Meeting to strengthen female school participation conducted in Order subzone. Seminar on eradicating of harmful practices organized in Barnum subzone. Oil prices rose 3% as the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. And West African states decide to create a new force to fight the jihadists in the region. This has been the news from ERi-TV studios, and this has been the Let's Sahel reporting. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.